My wife Elaine and I and our first son were the first Baha'i pioneers to live in Eugene, Oregon, and began to the best of our ability to serve the cause of God. We later moved to Great Falls, Montana, which was a goal of the Guardian's second 7-year plan, where we were able to help save the local spiritual assembly. Here we deepened our experience in the administration, and our second son was born. At this time, I had one unnerving experience. Our regional teaching committee decided to open up a new city, and I volunteered to be the speaker. I had 3 or 4 days off my work at the time. One of the Baha'is made arrangements in Deer Lodge, Montana, and I was to make a circuit from Great Falls through Butte, speaking at cities along the route. There were no believers in Deer Lodge, but arrangements had been made for me to speak in the home of a woman who had no previous knowledge of the faith. The meeting had been advertised in the local paper, and so, as so often happens, no one else came, and this young woman was my sole audience. Since she was unfamiliar with the faith, I gave her the message. This was my first experience with a truly receptive soul. How her eyes shone with wonder, and what a happy and joyful time we had. I will never forget how eager she was for literature. As I left to go on to Butte, she stood by the table with a truly angelic appearance. Word preceded me to Butte of her sudden death. Within 5 minutes of my departure, a blood clot reached her brain, killing her instantaneously. This was the first of many and various experiences where I have been urged and guided to fulfill a particular task that must be done within a certain time. Praise be to God that I had been there to proffer the everlasting cup to this ready and expectant soul. However, all our teaching was not victory. Our local spiritual assembly slowly disintegrated because of believers moving away, and there was no new interest or even contacts. Firesides bloomed, then died. Public meetings were washouts. We had united prayer efforts and individual prayer efforts to no apparent avail. That year, during our vacation, my wife and I attended the Baha'i Summer School session at Geyserville in California. This was our first taste of the complete Baha'i life. Surely we entered the gates of heaven, where on all sides rang peace, peace, peace. One day I was sitting out under the big tree with that true handmaiden of the cause of God, Valeria Nichols. She served the faith in the second 7-year plan, the 10-year crusade, and has been valiantly pioneering since the 9-year plan. Valeria was telling me the story of how she had answered the call of our guardian during the second 7-year plan. She described all of her frustrations with visas and authorities, and how she finally secured a visa for a very short visit to Portugal. The visa was extended, and later, when she finally had to leave, she left behind a local spiritual assembly in Lisbon. I thought that if this could be done in far-off Portugal, it could be repeated in Great Falls. I said, "Val, you must have a secret. Whatever you did, I want to know about it." Her plain and simple answer has become one of the strongest guiding principles of my life. She replied, "Janabi, I didn't do anything. I was helpless. First, I put all my trust and faith in the hands of Baha'u'llah. For where else could I turn? To strengthen this trust, I arose every morning at dawn, walked the streets, and said the Tablet of Ahmad 9 times. I had read and reread many times the words of Baha'u'llah in regard to putting all your trust and confidence in God as the best of helpers, and it always seemed to me some far-off goal, unattainable and distant. Now I sat with my true Baha'i sister, who told me she did it as if it was the most natural thing in the world, which of course it is. As I thought and meditated about our problems in Great Falls, it became quite apparent that we poor weak creatures were trying to do it ourselves. Even our prayers had been that we might achieve our goal for the cause of God. Armed with this new perspective, my wife and I returned refreshed, each with added understanding of the truth that God doeth whatsoever he willeth. I lay all my affairs in thy hand. My wife and I subsequently arose every morning at dawn, which in itself was an enriching experience. And alternatingly, we would say that powerful tablet of Achmad 9 times. Sometimes I would leave my wife with the children and I would drive out through the streets of Great Falls saying the tablet. On these days, we jointly said it 18 times. Within a few days, after the completion of our 19-day prayer effort, came a wire from a National Spiritual Assembly stating that, being aware of our critical situation in maintaining our assembly, they were sending us help in the person of Catherine Frankland.